Okay guys, sorry I haven't updated this. It's been some crazy few days. The 3G internet takes a while to post, so I have to choose wisely when I do post. Alright, let's start with what happened last night. I went outside with the flashlight and Astrid and I hear rustling in the leaves. Astrid is on edge at this point, so she's barking wildly. I likely woke my neighborhood up. I don't really care at this point. I get into the garage and thankfully no one is in there. Part of me wondered if those horror movie things were true and someone would just be standing in my garage or something. Then I realized the blood on the floor. Little droplets and splashes led a path to a broken chair. The leg was snapped and there was a good deal of blood on the chair. I sent some pictures with the post. Hope it sends with this 3G. Astrid was smelling the blood. Good girl. Perhaps she can smell the guy and then we can catch him, or something along those lines. But nothing. She lifted her nose into the air and just did nothing. Great. My husky is as perspective as a bunny rabbit. My heart was racing so hard, I actually had to take a breather. I just looked away from it for 1 second, but my mind wouldn't stop racing. Even when I tried to calm down, it immediately went to the thought of how everything changed so quick. Life takes unexpected turns. I knew that, but this was crazy. At this point, I figured the police would understand. I had an intruder. It was time to call the cops. I never did anything with ill intentions. And now, I was scared someone was trying to kill me. I kept Astrid close by. My ears were going wild. At one point, a leaf fell and my neck swung around to look at it. I text my friend to question him about the legality of going on the dark web, just to be sure. Of course, he is not frickin' responding. At this point, I call 911 anyways, and explain to them that I've had an intruder and that there is blood and so forth. The police come and I'm super anxious, but I don't see how this could lead to any questions about the dark web thing. So I just keep telling that to myself in my head. I swear to God, I knew I couldn't slip that out. Well, they come and see the blood and the cop is like, it's gotta be an intruder. I mean, I guess he was right, but still, an intruder. Then his partner calls us over. And guess what the hell he found? A lens cap for a camera. It wasn't in the garage. It was just outside my house in the bushes. The one cop looks at me and is like, "You got a spy around here, I think." I'm just thinking in my head, what? So then I asked them to take samples of the blood and do some testing to figure out who it was. The older cop looks at me and goes, "We're not forensics and no one's dead." I mutter under my breath, "Yet." The cops then leave, having done nothing but point out the lens cap and tell me there's nothing they can do. They told me to get security cameras and wait for the intruder to come back. Security cameras sound nice and all, but I've seen on the dark web that they've had a whole sharing site for that stuff, and I can't hook anything up to the internet for now. So that's a no right there. I go back into my house and took some Tylenol. I just wanted my brain to stop screaming at me at this point. It was after all this, I finally checked your posts. I saw one of you said to stop the package deliverer. Brilliant. How the hell did I not think of that? It's amazing how I can't think straight with the stress. Like, oh, someone bought some packages. Like, oh, someone bought some packages. Perhaps cancel it. Jesus, what's wrong with me? I did it immediately. The packages hadn't even shipped yet. Bless. I saved at least that part. Now to handle the intruder. To make sure the stupid door didn't scare the crap out of me tonight, I got a rubber band and tied it to the handle. Tylenol wasn't doing anything for me, so I took some Advil instead, the nighttime one. I had no beer, so this is all I had. I finally fell asleep and made sure Astrid was right near me, just in case she smelled or heard anything. I woke up yesterday morning contemplating if I should go to work. I think one of you said I should just take a sick day. That makes sense. The boss knew I didn't feel well yesterday, so he'd be inclined to believe me. I called him up and told him I got food poisoning and couldn't come in. His response was, "Don't worry, Jack, get better." My name isn't even Jack. Jesus, how is he the boss? Well, anyways, now I was off. I was glad I didn't have to leave Astrid alone again. That stress was just too much at the time. For the first few hours in the morning, everything was quiet. Nothing was really going on. In fact, I quickly realized it kinda sucked having no real internet. Everything took too long to load. I started playing some video games, but my ears didn't like it. They didn't want to hear it at all. So here I am playing some racing game on mute and the doorbell rings. All the hairs on my back stand up. Astrid starts barking and going wild, and I just sit there, frozen. This frozen thing has been happening way too often lately. I was waiting for the doorbell to go off again. I don't have a peephole or anything, so I just waited. Eventually, I heard the distinct sound of the UPS truck starting up and driving away. Honestly, that was the best possible sound I could have heard at this point. Now, usually, when I hear that noise, I jump up like a dog thinking he's gonna get a treat, as my mind tries to remember what Amazon package I ordered. Well, this stuff must be Pavlovian or something, because I had the same reaction. Halfway to the door, my brain turns on and reminds me I had no Amazon orders, and the weird ones were canceled. I honestly didn't know what to expect. But even what I did expect was nowhere near as insane as what actually arrived at my door. There were 3 packages. 2 were the ones that I thought I had canceled on Amazon. There was the knife, and the rope, and even the goddamn diapers. But something threw me off. There was the classic Amazon tape on the package, but Amazon usually tells you your email. This one didn't. It just had my address. Something made me check the knife. My gut had this powerful feeling that something was out of place here. Sure enough, I take a closer look at the knife. Guys, I swear there was blood residue on the knife. Now, I don't have a blacklight or anything, but Jesus Christ, that had to be blood. Then it clicked. My hands had touched the knife. At this point, my brain just shut off. It was thinking so fast, simulating all the possible outcomes and simultaneously trying not to throw up. I just stared at the knife for a solid 10 minutes, trying to figure out what was going on. The last package was a strange one. I thought the diapers weirded me out. This next one was something else. There were a bunch of pictures of little kids at the playground. Yeah, This guy sent me his bloodied knife and pictures. It was clear he was trying to frame me or something, right? Like, why else send me the knife and the pics? Why the hell would anyone do any of this? I must have stumbled on the forum. And this nutcase must be trying to frame me. That has to be it. I was fiddling with the lens cap, and I finally took a good enough look at it. The lens cap was a Canon. Huh. I have a Canon. Wait. I ran into my garage, swung the door open, and searched around for where I had stored my T3i. I don't photograph stuff often. It was a gift from my great aunt or something. I kept it in its box right on the ledge above the old dresser. The box was there, but I had to check if the camera was there. For a few seconds, I couldn't do it. I really didn't want to know the answer because I already did. But I was wrong. The camera was there. I sat down to have a minute to think. So, he didn't take my camera, and was spying on me, possibly. It just didn't make too much sense. How would him spying on me help him frame me? Now, mind you, I'm absolute crap at chess, and strategy things as well. So it's not like I was even sure this would be the moves he'd make. I honestly had no goddamn idea what this guy would be thinking. How the hell would I? So, then the next test was to see if the lens cap fit. It didn't even occur to me that before my camera was missing its cap. I mindlessly put it back on. It took a few seconds too long for the wires in my brain to piece that one together. So, I was right. He did take the camera. I guess right. Jesus hell, this dude was at my house twice, and Astrid didn't even notice. The camera turns on just fine, and there's an SD card in it. So I go to check the SD card and it's empty. I was confused out of my mind at this point. So I start talking to my dog. Yeah, it's always a good sign when you start legitimately talking to your dog. It wasn't cutesy talk. I was legit trying to ask her for help. God help me. So I did take this one photography class years ago in college for an easy A that wasn't an easy A kind of thing. I do remember my teacher saying something how every camera has a few distinct pixels, like a fingerprint. So I go over to the pictures of these kids and I find where the dead pixels are. I find 10 dead pixels. I flip my camera on and take a shot of my garage. It was too dark, so I took a shot of my house. Lo and behold, the same 10 pixels. I didn't think my heart could race any faster than the time I downed 3 Red Bulls. I was wrong. Then, it hit me. I just took pictures of my house and my garage with the same camera that took pictures of these kids. I'm so stupid. I mean, how didn't I see that? Why didn't I see that until afterwards? At this point, I just broke down in tears. Astrid was trying to clean him up and whatnot. She's a good girl, you know? Really there when I need her. I was lost, guys. I wanted to post to Reddit to ask for help, but I can barely compose myself, as I was a major wreck. I took a deep breath. I can't make any more mistakes. I also slapped myself a few times. My brain needed to work after this. I seriously can't afford another mistake. Whatever is happening, and I need to make it out of this alive and not in prison. I'm sure you guys have realized by this point, my brain is not always there for me when I need it. Should I call the police or not? I really sat there and thought about this question for a good hour or so. If I do call the police, it will result as I expect it to. Like, what are they going to do? Or what are they gonna think? Am I being honest about all of this? I mean, did I call the police last night? So I guess they have a record. But the camera cap was my camera. What if that blood isn't even the guy's blood? What if it's part of the setup, too? The police would be more inclined to think I'm lying about all of this. But I don't have a dungeon or a basement or anything like those serial killers have. So I guess I have that going for me. Wait, no, I don't. My great aunt died 5 years ago. She has no family, so she gave the house to me. I haven't even been there in months. I've been trying to sell it, but no one wants to buy it. It's out on the island, so the place definitely has a cellar. So I guess that's where the police would think I keep them. My brain ran through these thoughts over and over like some supercomputer trying to find the probability of getting arrested. My optimistic side was trying to tell me that you did nothing wrong. They'll figure out the truth and that you didn't do it. While my pessimistic side was convincing me that they'll figure it out that you're innocent after they've killed you. In the end, I decided that it wasn't a good idea to call the police. Maybe it was just paranoia, but I couldn't take the chance of being framed for all this. So, what's next? I guess I have to get rid of the evidence, right? So I got a backpack ready and I was going to go out in the forest upstate and just bury this shit somewhere. I would also have to clean the blood, even though the police have it on record that it was there. So, I have everything ready and I clean up the blood. I get back inside and I see a cop car down the block. It's just sitting there. But I knew. He must have given them a tip as well. Great. Just great. I jump into lightning mode. My adrenaline was going full throttle. I just did not want to go to prison. I did not have enough money for a lawyer, and I had no idea how to get myself out of this mess. I put the knife and rope and other stuff in my bag, and I set the pictures on fire with gasoline. Then they start knocking on the door. Loud. Really loud. Like I mean business loud. I put on the backpack and Astrid starts going ballistic. I start sweating more and more every second. I really could not fathom what was going on. I used to be a firm believer that humans were blind to drastic change. We've been to the moon and have all this tech, and humans just look at it like it's nothing. We're really good at fathoming changes, even when we thought it was impossible to get into space. But no, I couldn't understand this. I was shocked and my brain was just going a mile a minute. I tried getting Astrid to come, but she won't. I simply can't leave her alone. I run out the back door and I unlock the doggy door I installed years ago for our backyard. I hop over the fence to my neighbor's yard. He's from Vietnam and has a crap ton of shrubbery. Perfect to hide in even if it brings thousands of mosquitoes. I see the police in my house. Their flashlights on and Astrid going insane and barking at them. She wouldn't hurt them. She was never trained to harm anything. Or at least, I keep telling myself that. I just really didn't want them hurting my girl. I mean, in case you're wondering, I didn't think what I had done was the best idea. I just honestly could not figure out what the best idea was. But then, I had a thought that burying this stuff would be burying actual evidence in what looks like a child murder. I couldn't do that. I couldn't just get rid of evidence. That's even more screwed up. Especially if some kid is hurt or something. I knew what I was gonna do. I had to find him and call the police. That was the only way I could think they'd believe me in all this. It's a stupid idea, I'm aware. Just then, she squealed. They heard her. I still can barely write about it. I don't know if she's okay or not. I hope she is. I hope they just impounded her or something. I don't know what the hell I did in life to deserve this. One little mistake and my life is literally upside down. My dog is hurt, and I'm a fugitive on the run from the police. The closest I've ever come to the police before this was a rooftop party. I walked as inconspicuously as I could to the bus, got off a few stops later and called an Uber. I arrived at the town a half hour ago, and it's hot as hell. Mosquitoes are everywhere. I have this old map that I got when I was 12 years old. It has everything about Long Island on it. Here's to hoping it helps. I start walking to a forest nearby to bury this stuff, so I don't need to carry it right now. I have to write down where it is. I mark it on my map. After this is all over, and I find this sick bastard, I'll let the police know where the evidence is. But now, I'm in the middle of a dark forest. I really wish I'd think things through sometimes. My flashlight batteries are still good, but I gotta tell you, I swear I heard something. My uncle let me come on a hunt with him once. He told me that a fox sounded a lot like a human. My uncle let me come on a hunt with him once. He told me that a fox sounded like a human scream. Well, then I hope there are foxes in Long Island. I gotta go for now. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I appreciate it a lot. And if you want to hear more scary stories in the future, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Thank you. And even donate to my Patreon if you're feeling generous. Thank you.